A lady who was the head of colored schools for Queen Anne's County. Her name was Lucretia Kennard. And she had this vision of having a high school or secondary school for African Americans, because there was none in the county. Typically you went to the 8th grade and that was about it. So in, I guess it was the late 20s, she had this vision. And it initiated or motivated some local men to put together and become trustees to help build and create a secondary school for African Americans in Queen Anne's County, which my grandfather was one of those men. So I got some family ties. And in 1935, Miss Kennard had died by that time, by the way, because of Roosevelt's Work Progress Administration Program, the WPA, and in conjunction with the Queen Anne's County School Board and commissioners, they were able to put up the initial building that became Kennard High School. It operated from 1936 to 1947, okay, as a single floor, 4-classroom school. And in 1947, I guess it happened in 46, they decided they needed more. The population was growing, okay, there were more kids, they needed more space. So they decided to build a 2-story addition on to the original school. And that's where we're sitting in the basement of that 2-story addition. And by 51, they had kind of outgrown that space several years later, 4 years later. And so they decided, well, we need a new Kennard High School now, okay? And this was a wood frame building, okay? And if you notice, there's clapboard shingles outside. If you look across the parking lot, there's a brick school, which is now Kennard Elementary School. Well, that was the new Kennard High School. This school, after they moved into the new high school, became an elementary school. So its last school use was really as an elementary school and an appendix, okay, for the high school. So they operated together until 1966 when the county integrated. And once the county integrated, this building kind of became kaput. In 1996, I'll step back a little bit, the county decided they wanted to divest themselves of this building. So they said, let's give it to the Kennard Alumni Association, okay? And so, but the association had through some good advice by somebody, because I wasn't around here in 96 when they did that, they said, no, don't give it to us, lease it to us. Keep it in your name. So they leased it to the association on a 99-year lease, okay? So we had ownership of the building without all the liability of ownership. But because of that, they were able to raise enough funding to do some structural repair to stop the damage that had incurred over the last 35 years. They put a new roof on the building. They did some internal lead abatement, because these floors were that thick with asbestos tiles. And just some general structural work to make sure it didn't get any worse. And in, I guess it was 2006, I came back to the county to take care of my mom, and I'd done some development work for a nonprofit in Frederick County. And so I looked at what we had and what we were doing, and I thought it was time to move it off the dime, so to speak. So I said, well, let me see if I can help raise some money to actually get the building restored. And at that point, there was a grant that was available through the Maryland Heritage Areas Authority. And this grant was for up to $100,000. I figured that's a good start. So but it was matching funds. So then I said, let me go to the county and see if they'll kick in, because they still own the building. They have a vested interest in the building. So the county punted up, I think it was $100,000 on their initial grant. I applied for that grant, and we got $98,000 of the $100,000 we were asking for total. Yeah, well, that's about what it cost to finish this building. It was about $2 million.
So where did the rest of the money?
Well, we applied for more grants. We raised more funding. We raised probably about $150,000 ourselves just through, again, with grassroots fundraising. We have an annual fundraiser that draws about $20,000 to $25,000 each year. We hope it's going to get bigger now that we're in the building. But all told, we raised about $850,000 in grant funding. No, it was a combination of state, county, and some federal funding. The first phase, which was the whole outside envelope and structural repairs. We hadn't done any interior finishing, but all the outside was done, all the demolition was accomplished, okay, and all the structural repairs were done. So now we're ready by that. We finished that up, I'd say the end of 2012, early 2013. Now we're out of money. So we got to go back to the table because we had spent almost $1 million by that time. And I said, well, and we were phasing in the restoration based upon when we got the money to do it. So we exhausted what we had, and we got the outside done. So now we have to fund the last phase, the phase that will finish the project. We went to what's called a bond bill, where our delegate and our senator actually submit a bill, okay, to the legislature, and they decide whether or not they want to give us money for the projects. We got in bond bill funding, we got $200,000 originally. Then we got another $75,000, and then we got the last one we got for this last phase was $300,000. The county has ponied up about $600,000 total for this project. Okay, and we're very grateful. And I think it's kind of due to it's a vested interest. This building, its use will be countywide. And it doesn't, even though, yes, it does physically belong to the association, it's for the benefit of the county. And I'm not a fan of making nice buildings and then not using them. But our vision is to use this as a cultural heritage center and an African American history museum. One of the rooms upstairs will become a museum that will chronicle African American history here in Queen Anne's County and on the Eastern Shore. In more than one area, in areas of work, meaning farmers and watermen will be highlighted, in terms of the school's history and what went on countywide and nationwide during that time period. Far too often there's so little history about African Americans, okay, in this county, in this nation even, and very little of it taught in our schools anymore. So we want to partner also with the Board of Education to make this school and its history part of the curriculum for kids, so they can know where we came from, and not just African American kids, all kids. Because we're all part of the same community, same county, okay? But I need them to know that we were part of the legacy. We're part of the history. We're part of what made this county what it is today, okay? And they need to see that, and they can only see that if somebody tells it to them, tells the story. So I'm gonna petition the county, okay, to make us part of the 3rd or 4th grade curriculum, because I think it's important that they see it early and understand it early. And that way it's working and just keep perpetuating itself. It will be open to the public also for tours and just for events. This will be a community center of sorts, this building, because we'll have a big multi-purpose room, we have a kitchen, and we have meeting rooms also here. But and more than that, the area we're in right now hopefully will become a recreation center and study hall. Kids can come, they can walk in after school and have safe space to study and to commingle and to be tutored. There'll be a name change for this building. It'll be the Kennard High School Cultural Heritage Center and African American History Museum. But it will still be managed by the Kennard Alumni Association. when you say raise, you mean with grants and everything? We raised a nation of $1.8 million. And I have no qualms about begging, by the way, none whatsoever. We've got money from the county. We've got money from the state. We've gotten some federal money. We've raised some money at our events, but it's hard to get into the pockets of donors. Okay, and that's where I thought I'd be able to get a chunk of this money from, and not because I haven't tried. You know, I've done appeals. Okay, I've solicited deep pocket donors, so to speak. Okay, and have gotten very little response. Yeah. Now I haven't given up.
I was going to say.
I haven't given up.
Lesson number one.
But I think now that the building is actually up and it's restored, I'm hoping people will see this as an opportunity to be a part of it. Well, on the capital side, I borrowed $150,000 to finish this project. Nice. Okay, so I want to raise $150,000 so I can retire that debt. I'm on a campaign right now, on a debt reduction campaign right now. Okay, you got $1,000, you can donate it over the course of 3 years to retire that debt. I need 150 people with $1,000 to donate to retire that debt, and they can pay it any way they want over 3 years. Then we have to operate the building and fund the programs. Okay, I did a projection, an operating budget projection, which I think amounted to about with a director or part-time director. And a janitor. That's the only hard help, okay? Of somewhere in the neighborhood of about, I'd say $90,000 a year. That's what we're looking for sources. But there are some grants that will fund programs. There are a lot of grants that will fund programs, but not operating expenses. Okay. So at that point, we have to continue to do events and fundraising ourselves. We have to continue to solicit donors ourselves, okay? Because that's where the bulk of nonprofit capital comes from. It's from donors. Because I'm hoping to build a good volunteer network, okay, and a good intern network through the colleges and through the high schools. And at that point, it will keep our operating costs to a minimum. I'm now even surprised at some of the external costs like gas and electric and those things, okay? Insurance. Much higher number than I thought would be. But we're working on that because we have a fire suppression system in this building, which will reduce and once it's inspected and okayed, that it will reduce our insurance costs significantly, I hope. I don't know that it's any hard to raise money. I just think it takes perseverance, okay? And it takes, I hate to use this word, there's a lot of apathy, okay, in our community. And I'll say our African American community, number one, because that's where a lot of the older churches are. And a lot of them think, well, we've done our share. Churches are old now, and those congregations are old. And we've done our share. And how do you now get younger people involved? And that's the same challenge I have here. It's getting younger people involved. I put the word out now. I've got somebody that's working on what do you call social media to let people know what we're doing. And I'm hoping it would draw some in. I got a call from a young lady the other day that she wants to be involved in some way. Okay, I'm formulating a new board for this entity, and I'm hoping I can get some young people to step up. I mean, I am 70, and I'm the baby of our organization, by the way. Okay, most you gotta figure, this school went out of existence in '66. Okay, there are still some that are a few years younger than me, but not by much.